They are gone. And this time, it is not a scheduling conflict, it is not a hiatus for the WNBA season, and it is definitely not a mutual parting ways. If you look at the Underdog Sports roster page today, you will see a very specific void where two legends used to sit. Sheryl Swoopes, Lexi Brown. Erased. For months, the comment section on every single Gil's Arena video has been demanding it. Get them off the mic. They are ruining the show. I am unsubscribing until the hate stops. And for months, Gilbert Arenas protected them. He played the role of the chaotic, neutral host, letting them cook, letting them spiral, and collecting the views. But on Tuesday, the math finally stopped mathing. Gilbert Arenas dropped the bombshell that Sheryl Swoopes and Lexi Brown have been let go from the network. Now, the official corporate PR statement will tell you this is about contract restructuring or creative direction. Do not believe it. We have dug through the timeline, the deleted tweets from 3 a.m., and the subscriber analytics for Underdog Fantasy, and the truth is much darker. This was not a firing, this was an eviction. The WNBA media landscape is currently fighting a civil war between the old guard and the new wave, and Sheryl Swoopes just became the first general to lose her command because she refused to put down her weapon. Today, we are looking at the receipts. We are going to show you the exact moment the bag was fumbled, the phone call with Nancy Lieberman that allegedly sealed Sheryl's fate, and the locker room cancer accusations that have followed Lexi Brown from the Los Angeles Sparks directly to the unemployment line. Look at this screenshot from February 4th. It is a deleted reply that was up for exactly 12 minutes. This is where the end began. Welcome to the fallout. This is Basketball Spilled. To understand why they were fired in December 2025, you have to go back to the scene of the crime, February 2024. Sheryl Swoopes goes on the mic and says with full confidence that Caitlin Clark's scoring record is illegitimate because she played 5 years, is 25 years old, and takes 40 shots a game. 3 claims, 3 lies. Caitlin Clark was 22. She was in her 4th year. She took roughly 20 shots a game. Now, getting a stat wrong is not a fireable offense. If it was, Shaq would have been fired from TNT a decade ago. The offense was the malice. It was the tone. It was the smirk. Swoopes was not analyzing a player. She was trying to deconstruct a myth that she felt threatened by. You have to understand the psychology of the legend. Sheryl Swoopes is arguably the greatest player of the original era. She is the first player ever signed to the WNBA. She won the title with Texas Tech in '93 in a performance that, frankly, was better than anything we see today. She dropped 47 points in the national championship. She is royalty. But royalty demands respect. And for the last 2 years, all the oxygen in the room has been sucked up by a girl from Iowa who shoots from the logo. When Sheryl looked at Caitlin Clark, she did not see the future of the league. She saw erasure. She saw the media celebrating a new icon while forgetting the one who built the house. That insecurity bled into her commentary. It turned analysis into hate. And when the internet corrected her on the stats, she did not pivot, she did not laugh it off, she doubled down. She wore a t-shirt in her next appearance that said, "I am Black history." She used a cultural shield to deflect from a statistical error. This was the first strike. Underdog Sports is a business. Their demographic is young, stat-obsessed sports bettors. They know the numbers. When you have a basketball expert on your payroll who doesn't know how many years a college degree takes, you lose credibility. But Gilbert kept her. Why? Because the drama sells. Or at least it did, until the drama became toxic. While Sheryl was fighting the war on the front lines with a microphone, Lexi Brown was fighting a guerrilla war in the comment sections. Lexi's situation is more complex because she's an active player. She's in the league. She has to face Caitlin Clark on the court. But instead of keeping it professional, she turned her segment on Gil's Arena into a therapy session for her own jealousy. We found a pattern. Every time Caitlin Clark had a bad game, Lexi Brown's Twitter activity would spike. Likes on tweets calling Clark a turnover machine, replying with laughing emojis to posts mocking the Fever's defense. Then she would come on the show and say, "I respect her game, but..." The "but" is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. The audience is not stupid. They saw a player who has bounced around the league from the sun to the Lynx to the Sky to the Sparks, throwing stones at a rookie who did more for the league's revenue in 3 months than Lexie has done in her entire career. And we need to talk about Lexi Brown's history. She's the daughter of Dee Brown, an NBA slam dunk champion. She went to Maryland, then transferred to Duke. She's been in the spotlight her whole life. She is talented, but in the WNBA, she has struggled to find a permanent home. There are whispers, unconfirmed but persistent, that her media persona was causing friction with her actual teammates. How can you build chemistry in the Sparks locker room when your guard is going viral for bashing the league's golden goose? Underdog looked at the analytics. Videos featuring Lexie Brown and Sheryl Swoopes discussing Caitlin Clark had high views, but the sentiment analysis was 90% negative. The dislikes were burying the algorithm. Advertisers don't want to be associated with a comment section that looks like a war zone. But the turning point for Lexie wasn't a podcast clip. It was the silence from her peers. Notice how few current WNBA players came to her defense when the comments started dragging her. That silence is loud. It tells you that even inside the league, people were tired of the double standard where active players were using a media platform to bully a rookie under the guise of being an analyst. This brings us to the smoking gun. This is the moment the sisterhood of the WNBA officially shattered. Nancy Lieberman. Lady Magic, a legend on par with Swoops. They were friends for decades. After Sheryl's comments about Clark, Nancy Lieberman called her. She did not call her out publicly at first. She called her as a friend. She said, "Sheryl, you are wrong on the stats. You need to fix this." Sheryl Swoopes did not say, "Thanks, Nancy." According to reports and Lieberman's own recount on Stephen A. Smith's show, Sheryl got defensive. She got angry, and then she cut her off. Nancy Lieberman went on public record saying their friendship is pretty much done because Sheryl refused to walk back the hate. Think about the magnitude of that. Sheryl Swoopes was willing to torch a 30-year relationship with a fellow Hall of Famer just to keep hating on a 22-year-old girl. That is not analysis. That is pathology. Gilbert saw this. Gilbert is a lot of things. He's loud, he's controversial, he's reckless, but he's loyal to the game. He realized that Sheryl was not just attacking Clark, she was attacking the reality of basketball. And when you attack the reality of the game on a gambling show, you mess with the money. Gilbert talks about code a lot. The code of the locker room, the code of the veterans, but there's also a code in broadcasting. You can be biased, you can be a homer, but you cannot be delusional. Sheryl crossed the line from bias into delusion, and she dragged the credibility of the entire platform down with her. So why fire them in December 2025? Why not do it 6 months ago? Because the season is over. The narrative has been settled. Caitlin Clark won. She broke the records, she made the playoffs, she proved every single thing Sheryl Swoopes said was wrong. Keeping Sheryl on the payroll for the 2026 season would be a liability. How can she analyze a Fever game next year? If she praises Clark, she looks fake. If she criticizes her, she looks bitter. She analyzed herself into a corner where she is no longer useful as a pundit. And let's be honest about the Gilbert factor. Gilbert has pivoted. He sees where the wind is blowing. He sees the millions of new eyes on the WNBA. He knows that the future of Gil's Arena is not appealing to the bitterness of the past. It is capturing the excitement of the future. He cut the dead weight. But there's another layer here, the sponsors. We know that Nike has a massive investment in Caitlin Clark. We know that the WNBA's new media rights deal is worth billions. Do you think the league executives were happy about two of their most prominent faces going on a massive platform every week and telling the world that the league's product is hype and smoke? There's a theory circulating on the message boards that the WNBA tapped Gilbert on the shoulder. They didn't order him to fire them, but they maybe made it clear that access to players, access to events, and the general relationship with the league would be better if the toxicity was dialed back. Gilbert Arenas is a businessman. He understands leverage, and Sheryl Swoopes had lost hers. Let's look deeper at the Lexi Brown termination because it's actually sadder. Lexi had a chance to be the bridge. She could have been the active player who explains the nuance of guarding Caitlin Clark. She could have broken down the pick-and-roll coverages, the physicality, the rookie wall. She could have been the Draymond Green of the WNBA media. Instead, she chose to be a Twitter troll. She chose engagement farming over insight. And the tragedy is, she's a smart basketball mind. When she talks X's and O's, she's brilliant. But she couldn't get past the emotion. She couldn't get past the fact that Caitlin Clark walked in and got the shoe deal, the chartered flights, and the fame that Lexi and her peers have been grinding for years. It's human to be jealous. It's business suicide to let that jealousy dictate your content strategy. Now, look at the reaction. Go to Twitter right now, search Sheryl Swoopes. The fan celebration is almost cruel. There are memes of her being escorted out of the building. There are compilations of her worst takes set to Curb Your Enthusiasm music. This is the legacy she has built in the last 12 months. She traded her legacy as the Jordan of the WNBA for a legacy as the Skip Bayless of the WNBA. She traded her legacy as the Jordan of the WNBA for a legacy as the Skip Bayless of the WNBA, but without the contract to back it up. And what about the replacements? Who sits in those chairs now? Gilbert needs people who can push back, yes, but he needs people who actually watch the games with clear eyes. We are hearing rumors, maybe a recently retired player who was actually praised the new generation. Maybe Sue Bird makes an appearance, though that is a long shot. Or maybe Gilbert leans into the chaos and brings in someone even more controversial. But the days of the unchecked hate circle are over. The silence from Underdog Sports is the loudest part of this story. Usually, when a host leaves, there is a thank you tweet, there is a highlight reel. We wish them the best in their future endeavors. For Sheryl and Lexi, nothing, just a removal from the website. That is the digital equivalent of having your jersey stripped and thrown in the trash. It implies cause. It implies that things got ugly behind the scenes. We have heard reports of shouting matches in the production meetings. We have heard that Sheryl refused to prepare for segments about the fever because she didn't want to talk about them. If that is true, that is insubordination. You cannot work on a general sports show and refuse to talk about the biggest story in sports. So where do they go from here? Sheryl Swoopes will always be a Hall of Famer. Nothing can take away the 4 championships. But her media career might be dead on arrival. Who hires her now? ESPN? No way, they are in business with the WNBA. The Athletic? They need objective journalism. She might have to start her own podcast, shouting into the void without the massive platform of Gil's Arena. And Lexi Brown? She has to go to training camp in a few months. She has to walk into a gym and look her teammates in the eye. She has to play against Caitlin Clark again, and this time, she won't have the microphone to hide behind. The court never lies, and the court has already rendered its verdict. This was a purge. It was a necessary cleaning of the house. The WNBA is growing up. It is moving from a niche league where everyone protects everyone to a global powerhouse where performance is the only currency. Sheryl Swoopes and Lexi Brown tried to hold on to the old ways. They tried to gatekeep the sport, but the gate was blown wide open and they got trampled by the stampede. Gilbert Arenas made a choice. He chose the future over the past. He chose the fans over the feelings of his friends. It was ruthless, it was cold, and it was absolutely the right decision. The soap opera is canceled. Now, maybe we can get back to basketball. What do you think? Did Gilbert Arenas make a business decision, or did he betray the WNBA sisterhood? And is there any path back for Sheryl Swoopes, or has she permanently torched her legacy? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to know the real story about what happened in the locker room during the Olympic break, click this video right here. The files are open.